I worked at Blackwood Farm the October I turned 22. They hired seasonal staff for their fall festival, pumpkin patch, hay rides, and a massive corn maze that they were pretty famous for in our county. The maze was legitimately huge. 15 acres, with a different design every year. They'd planted in the spring based on aerial blueprints, and by October it was tall enough that you couldn't see over it. My job was maze monitor. I'd walk the paths with a radio, help lost people, make sure nobody was damaging the corn or being stupid. There were 4 of us on maze duty during operating hours. The farm closed at 9 p.m., but we had to do a final sweep to make sure nobody was still in there. Usually took about 30 minutes if you knew the paths. During training, the farm manager, Bill, walked us through the maze layout. He had a laminated map that showed all the paths, the dead ends, the loops, the exit points. "Stick to the marked paths," he said. "Don't go off trail. The corn's thick, and you'll get disoriented." One of the other workers, Ashley, asked what happens if someone does go off path. Bill looked at her for a second. "You stick to the paths. That's the job." He showed us a few landmarks, a scarecrow at the center, a big wooden crow sculpture near the north exit, a bench at one of the decision points. "If you get turned around, radio in," he said. "Don't try to navigate out yourself." The first few weeks were fine. Families during the day, teenagers at night, the occasional person who'd panic a little when they got lost. Standard stuff. I learned the maze pretty well. Knew which turns led to dead ends, which loops brought you back to the center, how to guide people to the nearest exit based on where they were. It was the 3rd week of October when I had to go find a lost kid. It was about 8:30 p.m., half an hour before closing. A mom came running up to me in a panic. Her son had run ahead into the maze and she couldn't find him. I radioed it in and went looking. I could hear him crying somewhere ahead, so I followed the sound. Took a left at the scarecrow, straight through the next section, right at the fork. The crying got louder. I turned another corner and saw him. Maybe 7 years old, standing in the middle of the path, tears running down his face. "Hey, buddy," I said. "You okay? Your mom's looking for you." He pointed behind me. "I can't find the way out. I keep ending up here." I turned around to see where he was pointing. The path behind me was wrong. I'd just come from a right turn, but now there was no right turn. Just a straight path extending back into the darkness. I pulled out my map and turned on my flashlight. According to the map, there should be an intersection right behind me. There wasn't. "It's okay," I told the kid, trying to keep my voice steady. "I know the way. Come on." I radioed to Bill that I'd found the kid, and we were heading out. He acknowledged. I started walking back the way I'd come, or at least where the path was now. The kid followed close behind me. We walked for maybe 5 minutes. The path just kept going straight. No turns, no intersections, no landmarks. That wasn't right. The longest straight section in the maze was maybe 2 minutes of walking. I checked my map again. We should have hit the center scarecrow by now, or the north exit, or something. "I don't think this is right," the kid whispered. "It's fine," I said. "We just keep walking." But I could hear it in my own voice. I wasn't sure. I tried radioing Bill. Static. We kept walking. After what felt like 20 minutes, though I couldn't tell anymore, I heard something ahead. Voices. People talking. Relief flooded through me. Must be near the entrance. We rounded a corner and I stopped. There was the scarecrow, the center landmark. But we'd already passed it. I knew we had. The kid grabbed my sleeve. "We were just here." "No," I said. "That's impossible." But he was right. I recognized the exact angle of the scarecrow, the way the corn was bent near its post. We'd walked in a straight line for 20 minutes and somehow ended up back where we started. I pulled out my phone to check the time. 8:52 p.m. That couldn't be right. We'd been walking for at least half an hour. I tried the radio again. This time it crackled to life. "Bill? You there?" "Yeah, where are you? You should have been out by now." "I'm at the center scarecrow. With the kid. But the paths aren't making sense." There was a pause. "What do you mean?" "I mean, we've been walking for 30 minutes and keep ending up at the same spot." Another pause, longer this time. "Okay, stay where you are. I'm coming in to get you." "Which path should I take to meet you?" "No, just stay where you are." He sounded serious. The kid and I sat down by the scarecrow and waited. It felt like hours, but according to my phone, it was only 15 minutes before Bill appeared with a flashlight. "Come on," he said. "Follow me. Don't look at the paths, just follow me." We did. He led us through a series of turns that I knew were wrong according to the map. A left where there should be a right, straight through what looked like a dead end. 5 minutes later, we were at the exit. The kid's mom was there, frantic. She grabbed him and thanked me over and over. Bill told her there was no charge for the maze, gave them some free pumpkins, sent them on their way. When they were gone, I turned to Bill. "What the hell was that?" He folded up his map. "Sometimes the maze doesn't follow the map." "What does that mean?" "It means exactly what I said. Sometimes people get lost in there and the paths don't make sense. It's not often. Maybe once or twice a season." I asked why. "Don't know. Been happening since before I started working here. Previous owner told me about it when he sold the farm. Said as long as you don't fight it, just stay calm and wait for someone to come get you. It'll let you out eventually." "It?" I asked. He looked at me. "The maze. I worked there for the rest of October. I never had another incident like that." My dad's really into wildlife photography. He's got cameras set up all over our property in rural Vermont, about 40 acres, mostly woods. He checks the SD cards every few weeks, downloads the photos, sorts through them. Deer, foxes, the occasional bear. He's got this whole filing system. Last November, he asked me to check camera number 7 for him. He'd thrown his back out and couldn't do the hike. It's about a mile into the woods, near this old stone wall that used to mark a property boundary back in the 1800s. I grew up hiking these woods, so I didn't think anything of it. The camera was right where it always is, strapped to an oak tree, facing the deer trail. I swapped the SD card, checked the battery, started heading back. When I got home, I plugged the card into my laptop to make sure it had actually recorded anything before driving it over to my dad's place. The camera takes a photo every time it detects motion. There were about 200 photos from the past 3 weeks. I scrolled through. Deer, 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 squirrel, deer. Nothing, nothing, raccoon. Then I got to the nighttime photos. Photo 127, deer grazing. Timestamp 11:43, November 3rd. Photo 128, empty trail, 11:47, November 3rd. Photo 129, a person standing in the middle of the trail, 11:52, November 3rd. I zoomed in. It was a woman. She was facing the camera directly, but she was far enough back that I couldn't make out details. She was wearing what looked like a long white nightgown or dress. Her hair was dark and long. She was just standing there, staring at the camera. Photo 130. Same woman, same position, 11:57. Photo 131. Closer. She'd moved forward, toward the camera, still staring. 12:02, November 4th. Photo 132. Closer again. Now I could see her face. She wasn't blinking. Her eyes were open, just staring straight into the lens. Her expression was completely blank. Photo 133. So close I could only see from her chest up. Her face filled most of the frame. Photo 134. Empty trail. She was just gone. I sat there staring at my laptop screen for a long time. The nearest neighbor is 2 miles away. There's no reason for anyone to be walking around in our woods at midnight, and definitely no reason to be wearing a nightgown. I called my dad and told him I was bringing the card over. When he saw the photos, he went quiet. Then he asked me which camera it was. 7, I said, by the old stone wall. He nodded slowly. Yeah, that's the one. I asked what he meant. Camera 7 gets her sometimes, he said. Started maybe 5 years ago. I've got photos going back that far. He pulled out an old hard drive and showed me, a folder labeled Camera 7 Archive. Inside were dozens of photos spanning years, all the same woman, always at night, always walking closer to the camera over a series of shots, always gone by the last photo. Why don't you just take that camera down? I asked. He was quiet for a minute. I thought about it, but then I started wondering if she's showing up because the camera's there. What happens when it's not? Does she stop coming, or does she just come without me knowing about it? He clicked through a few more photos. At least this way, I know when she's around. I checked the dates. If there's a gap of a few weeks with no photos of her, I know she hasn't been there. That's worth something to me. I asked when the last time was. October, he said. So she's due. That was 2 weeks before I pulled the SD card. My dad still checks camera 7, but he does it himself now. He doesn't ask me anymore. My grandfather had a fishing spot he never told anyone about. Not the exact location, anyway. He'd just say, the creek, and leave it at that. He'd go out every Saturday morning during the season and come back with a cooler full of trout. Beautiful fish, bigger than you'd expect from a creek. When I was 14, he finally took me. We drove about 40 minutes out of town, turned off onto a dirt road, parked, and hiked maybe a mile into the woods. It was pretty, though. Clear water, maybe 15 feet across, surrounded by old-growth forest. "This is it?" I asked. "This is it." We set up on a flat rock near the bank. He showed me how to cast, how to read the water, how to be patient. Within an hour, I'd caught 3 trout. He caught 5. All of them were huge, 18, 20 inches, trophy-sized. "How are they so big?" I asked. He just smiled. "Good spot." We went every few weeks after that whenever I visited him. Always caught fish. Always big ones. I asked him once if he'd ever told anyone else about the spot. "Nope," he said. "And neither should you." I asked why not. "Some places are better left alone," he said. "We take what we need, we don't get greedy, and we don't bring crowds." When I was 17, I asked if we could try fishing deeper in the creek, see what else was there. He looked at me. "We fish from this rock. That's it. But what if there's better spots downstream?" "There's not." Something in his voice made me drop it. My grandfather died when I was 25. In his will, he left me his fishing gear and a handwritten note with directions to the creek. At the bottom, he'd written, "Fish from the flat rock. Don't go in the water." I thought it was just his way of saying, be careful. I went out there that spring, found the spot easily from his directions. The flat rock was still there, worn smooth from years of him standing on it. I set up and cast my line. Within 20 minutes, I had a fish, massive trout, maybe 22 inches. I kept fishing, caught 4 more in 2 hours, all huge. It didn't make sense. The creek wasn't that deep. I could see the bottom in most places. Maybe 3-4 feet. Not enough to sustain fish this size. I walked along the bank looking for deeper pools. About 50 yards downstream from the flat rock, I found one. The water there was different. Dark. I couldn't see the bottom. I knelt down and looked closer. The pool was maybe 10 feet across, circular. But I walked back to the flat rock and kept fishing. Over the next few months, I went back regularly, always fished from the flat rock, always caught huge fish. I never went near the circular pool again, but I thought about it. In July, I brought a friend. Jake had been asking to come for weeks, said he didn't believe me about the fish size. We set up on the flat rock. He cast his line. "Holy moly, this water's clear," he said. "You can see straight to the bottom." He walked along the bank, looking into the creek. "How do fish this big live in water this shallow?" he asked. Before I could stop him, he walked downstream toward the deep pool. "Jake, don't..." "Whoa," he said. "Check this out." He was standing at the edge of the pool looking down. "This thing's deep. I can't even see the bottom." "Yeah, I know. Come back." "Think there's big ones down there?" "Jake, seriously, come back." He cast his line into the pool. "Just one cast," he said. His line hit the water. The lure sank fast, disappearing into the dark. "Damn, that's deep," he said. Then his rod bent. Not a normal bite. It bent like something enormous had grabbed it. Jake's eyes went wide. "Oh, crap." The rod jerked hard, almost pulling him forward. He braced his feet and pulled back. Whatever was on the line pulled harder. "Jake, let go of the rod." "No way. This thing is huge." The line went slack suddenly. Jake stumbled backward, caught himself. "Lost it," he said, breathing hard. "That was..." He stopped. We both saw it at the same time. Something broke the surface of the pool, just for a second. It wasn't a fish. Too big, too pale. It sank back down before I could process what I was seeing. Jake was already walking back to the flat rock. "Yeah, okay," he said. "We can go." We packed up and left. On the drive back, he asked, "What was that?" "I don't know." "Your grandpa knew about that thing, right?" "Probably." "And he still fished there?" "From the flat rock," I said. "Never in the water, never at the pool." Jake was quiet for a minute. "The fish you catch, where do you think they come from?" I'd been wondering the same thing. I still go to the creek, still fish from the flat rock, still catch huge trout. But I think about what my grandfather wrote. Don't go in the water. I think he knew what was in that pool. I think he knew what we were really catching. And I think that's why he never told anyone where the spot was. Some things are better left alone. You take what you need, you don't get greedy, and you don't bring crowds.